Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are doing well and had a great weekend. I was finally able to get a feeling, y'all. Like, I told y'all last time that I needed a feeling. While you are here, you know what I'm gonna say? Go ahead and show your girl some love by liking the video and hitting subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. Those interested in remote work, I just posted 5 more remote jobs, y'all. 2 jobs have start dates of what is it, August 7th? Let me look at my notes real quick, y'all. My bad. One of them has a start date of August 7th, and the other one is July 31st. That is a quick hire company. So they're hiring for 2 different positions, and again, a start date. One of them is customer service healthcare that starts on 7/31/25. Second one is a radiology scheduler, 8/7. Both of these positions, I've never obviously been in them, but both of these positions seem to be mainly outbound call based positions. So if you're looking for like remote work or anything like that, make sure you check out my personal channel. I post around 12 to 13 per week. Okay, so that will be linked in the comments below. Today's video, y'all, is going to be like, I don't know the title specifically, so you'll just see it on the thumbnail whenever I come up with it. But I think I'm going to do something like dating a street dude gone wrong, because this is just a different topic I haven't done before. And I think a lot of us need to talk about how we'll date a street person and then those situations will end up going wrong. Okay, so no shade or judgment to anybody in this video, because I feel like a lot of girls have been through this, to where we went through a phase of like dating street dudes, not thinking about the outcomes that can happen with those or anything like that. So that is what this is going to be about, dating a street dude gone wrong. And then at the end, we're going to have a commentary and kind of speak about this. It's going to be 3 different women, 3 different situations. So I will see y'all at the end.
Hey y'all, we're doing a story time. So this is a story time on the first time I dated a hood ninja. Y'all, so basically I had moved back to Oklahoma. I had moved to Washington State, and my mama got deployed because she in the Army. So I had ended up moving back to Oklahoma when she got deployed. And my mama was really strict, y'all. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch music videos. I didn't spend the night in nobody's house. Nobody spent the night in my house. I couldn't even close my bedroom door. So my mama was like super strict. But my grandma was the exact opposite. Like, she was older, so she was more lenient. And then she had my other cousins that lived there with her too. So it was just like, once I moved to Oklahoma, I had like so much freedom, y'all. But yeah, I was so used to doing things a certain way though, that I was good for about 9 months, y'all. And when the summertime hit, baby, listen. So my grandma used to go to my other grandma's house, which is my mama. So we used to go to her house every day to check on her and, to go hang out. And that's like where everybody would hang out at. All my cousins, all their friends, like everybody would just be over there hanging out. And it was just so fun. Those were some of the best times of my life, literally. Like, my mom's house used to be so lit, like so lit, especially in the summertime. But so yeah, me and my grandmother, we went over to my mom's house one day, and there was this guy, like, he was walking from out of my mom's house, and I was walking into my mom's house. Y'all, listen, I remember this like yesterday. I will remember this forever. Like, when we passed by each other, like, it's like time slowed down. It was like this. Like, time literally slowed down, y'all. So I was like, Grandma, he is cute. Who is he? And Grandma was like, well, I don't know, yeah, he is cute, whatever. He was one of my cousin's friends, y'all. And so I kept seeing him. Like, I would go over to my mom's house every day, and I just kept seeing him. I just kept seeing him. And so I'm like, this gotta mean something. I kept, running into him. And so my cousins now, listen, all my cousins are about that life. So this was my boy, one of my favorite big boy cousins. He had a girl he was talking to. But let me mind y'all, I'm 15 at the time. So, was I 14 or 15? I was 15. So everybody else is older than me. I'm like the youngest one. So he was talking to this girl, and she came to pick me up, and I rode to the store with her. And I was just telling her, about the guy who I thought was cute, and I kept seeing around. And, we was just talking. She's like, okay, I'm about to make a stop to my friend's house. So I'm like, okay. When we got to her friend's house, her friend was a whole nother ninja that she was talking to, right? She talking to my cousin and somebody else, and I rode in the car with her to the other dude's house. So I'm like, oh Lord. Anyway, we walk into the house, and guess who's sitting on the couch, y'all? The dude who I keep seeing in my house. So I'm like, okay. But y'all, like, it's so much going on in here. Mind y'all, like, I ain't never been around no smoke, no alcohol, nothing. And they doing it all up in here. Like, this was a whole trap house. But I had no idea because I ain't never been inside a trap house before. So, shit, I'm thinking it's mama. Like, like mama house. Man, they are, just in there chilling. It's like a good time house. They just chilling and talking and they smoking or whatever. Now, I don't smoke or do nothing. So, I'm just sitting there looking like a square, and they all, used to that, and I'm the only one who's not, so I'm just sticking out like a sore thumb, and so the girl and her other dude, they went to the store, they went somewhere, and she gonna be back. So I'm like, okay, but I was so scared, but I'm like, not scared, but nervous. I'm like, okay. So me and the guy, he was super nice, we just sitting there talking or whatever, and he's asking me how old I am. I told him I was 15, y'all. He was 21. So y'all know he had my mind gone. Like, I was gone. I'm trying to see. I'm going to fast forward it. So basically, I started talking to him. We started, messing around or whatever. And I was so scared because I was younger than him. And I had never really had no boyfriend like that. Especially nobody that was older. Especially nobody that was, in the streets. Like, he was he was certified. And I just was scared. All of my big boy cousins, I didn't know what they was going to say. And, yeah, I was scared. So I really wasn't telling anybody like that. And y'all, one night he called my phone. And he's like, what you doing? And I'm like, nothing. I'm at home, finna do some homework or whatever. So I'm like, what you doing? He like, oh, I'm on the block. And I'm like, on the block? What's that? He like, I got to get this money for you, And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, well, you want me to come pick you up? And I'm like, it was a school night. So I tell him, like, I can't, leave. I got to go to school in the morning. Y'all, I had literally never done nothing before. So I was like, no, I can't leave. I got to go to school tomorrow. And he's like, well, I'll have you back, in time for school. We'll just go get something to eat and I'll take you back. And I was like, well, I guess, y'all. So basically, I was so scared. I was too scared to ask my grandma could I go, that I made a dummy. And snuck out the window. And y'all, I didn't go back home for a week. I was gone for a week, y'all. Literally, like, I didn't go to school for a week. This was the first time I had ever done anything like this in my life, y'all. I was gone for a whole fucking week. My mama, she lived in Georgia. When I tell you, she was calling my phone, leaving voicemails. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't answer the phone for nobody for a week. Like, my big cousins, they were calling my phone, leaving me voicemails, telling me that they was going to beat my ass when they caught me. And I was just so scared. And I'm just like, they're going to beat my ass. And he telling me, like, ain't nobody going to mess with you. So, shit, I kept not answering the phone. But y'all, it was so crazy. But my phone finna go dead, so let me know if y'all want a part 2. Okay, so this is part 2 of me dating a hood ninja, y'all. So I had basically ran away, and I was gone for like a week, y'all. After that, I think, so it was me, it was him. We're gonna call him Dandy. It was me, Dandy, his friend, the one that was talking to the same girl that my cousin was talking to, and one of my friends from school. So we was all in this room for like a week. And y'all, I still remember the room number and everything. Like, I still remember those songs, like the songs that were popular then. Like, y'all know that Pretty Ricky song, Your Love's Like Honey. Y'all, that song was on repeat for like a whole 24 hours straight, y'all. What other songs? That song, that Rihanna Umbrella song, because that's the song that was playing when me and my friend had left, because I forgot what happened. I think I got into it with Dandy, or no, she got into it with a friend, so we ended up leaving. But before I left, y'all, I didn't even have any clothes, so he had went and bought me, like, everything that I needed as far as clothes and hygiene and stuff like that. And after a week we ended up leaving or whatever. Y'all, I was so heartbroken. This was like my first real relationship. So we was leaving, we was walking to her friend's house in the rain, and the Rihanna Umbrella song was playing, and y'all, I was just heartbroken. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, how he gonna do this to me? Like, I've been with him for a whole week. Y'all, that's kind of probably where it started at, because I was like, I was so messed up. But I went back home, and I think I didn't talk to him for like maybe like a week or two. Y'all, he came back to my mama's house, you know, and like basically he came back for me, and I was just like, okay, like just dumb, going back with no questions and no nothing. And so we started back talking, and at this point everybody knew that I was with him. Like, all my family, all my big cousins, like, it wasn't a secret. Like, everybody knew. And they was accepting of it. Y'all, he was always like, with me for holidays. We would spend Thanksgiving at my grandma's house. I would go over to his grandma's house with him sometimes. Like, he was just always around. A lot of my first time doing things was with him. We used to always go out to eat. Like, we used to try new restaurants. Like, we were just always together. And like, I remember he pulled up in this red Firebird, y'all. This red T-top Firebird that the girl had got him, y'all. And he had let me drive it, to go get. I went to the store to get something, y'all. I felt like, now I ain't never had a car. I was like 15. So I had never had a car. So y'all, I just really felt like I was big shit, y'all, in that car with the music all the way up. I don't know if y'all know that Lil Wayne and Nivea song, Feeling Me. Y'all, that song was real popular then, But yeah, like, we just had so many great memories. There was a time that it was this time where he had a shootout in broad daylight at a fucking fast food restaurant. So he was on the run, and he had came and stayed with me and my grandma. He had came and stayed with us for like a month or two. And we was just always together. This was like my first real relationship. But after he left, after he was on the run, and he ended up having to leave my grandma's house, we kind of like slowly started going apart a little bit, just because he probably had other things on his mind, and I was just like tired of the bullshit, because it wasn't even just the girl with the car who he was messing with. It was other people. Like, I had fought this other girl, not exactly on account of him, but I knew that he was messing with the girl. So whenever the opportunity came for us to get into it, I went all the way, because I knew that she had messed with him. But it was just like so much. So he had ended up getting shot, and I had went to the hospital to see him. And when I was leaving out, his baby mama was coming in, and so that had really pissed me off. But the baby wasn't with her; it was just her. So that had really pissed me off. And it was just like all kind of stuff, to where I was just like, I was getting tired of it. So I ended up meeting my son's father, and we talked for a little bit. And then I started, spending time with him, and we started really liking each other. And I remember Dandy was to my grandma's house one day, and my son's dad had called on the house phone, and Dandy had answered it. This how crazy he is. How you at my grandma's house and her house phone ringing and you answering it? So he had answered the phone, and my son's dad, he's like, "Can I speak to Joy?" And Dandy was like, "Who is this?" And he, told him who he was. And Dandy looked at me, and he was like, "Nah, she can't talk right now," and hung up the phone in his face. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, "Who the F is, such and such?" And I was like, "That's the weed man." And he was like, "The weed man? You don't even smoke." Okay, y'all, like, it had got so bad to where I was like in my bedroom rocking back and forth, like crying, like, "Lord, please let me stop loving him. Lord, please let me stop caring about him. Lord, please let me just stop caring." Like, literally, y'all, like, I was literally crying and pleading with God, like, I don't want to love him no more. Y'all, this situation is the reason why today I don't have, like, people that I'm dating, I don't have them around my family. Like, I really don't bring them around my family like that. And it was this situation that happened to where he was over at my cousin's house with me, and her whole ass homegirls was over there, and I felt like they was flirting with him. So y'all know I turned up, and it just went all left from there. It just went real bad. And ever since that situation happened, I've never ever brought anybody that I dated or took or liked seriously, I never brought them around my family like that, because I didn't like the way that shit went. But a little bit before I had met my son's dad, me and Dandy had a pregnancy scare. So his friend, the one who was with my friend, he ended up, after they got into it, he ended up getting back with his longtime girlfriend, and they, you know, got a place and everything. And his girlfriend, she really liked me. She was older than me, so she looked at me as a little sister, and she used to always tell me, like, Joy, please leave him alone, like, he ain't no good for you, you know. You can come stay with us, you know, we'll get you a car to go back and forth to school, just make sure that you don't mess with him. And she was like, she felt like I was pregnant because, you know, I was just tired all the time, and she wanted me to take a pregnancy test. And she was like, if you are pregnant, like, I'll pay for the abortion if you leave him alone, and, you know, you come stay with us. And when Dandy heard this, Dandy went all the way. Listen, y'all, I ain't never heard nobody cuss somebody else said how he cussed her out. Like, he cussed her out so bad. And it made me leave with him. And I remember the last time that me and Dandy had like really linked up like that, I had been avoiding him because I was just tired of his bullshit. He just had me messed up. One day I was with my my son's dad, and Dandy kept calling me, and I didn't answer for like 2 or 3 days because I was with, you know, my son's dad. And so I ended up answering one morning, and he was like, where you at? I've been calling your phone. And I'm like, I'm leaving the hotel room. I was so happy to tell him that I was leaving the hotel room, y'all. He went crazy. And so I think I went home later that day. He ended up popping up and like being just like so, I don't know, like just so all over me. And the song that was playing that day, y'all, was, y'all know that pretty that Pleasure P song, I did you wrong, you did me wrong. That song was playing, y'all. So I went back with him. And eventually, like, it just kind of sizzled out because he ended up going to jail, y'all, because remember, he was on a run. So he ended up going to jail, and I had already started, you know, building a relationship with my son's dad. So, yeah, he ended up going to jail for some years. So I found out that I was pregnant with my son like 2 years later. And y'all, why did Dandy call me that same day that I found that I was pregnant? Let me know if I need to do a part 3.
Y'all, I just wanted to get on here because I think I just finished. I just left another interview. I literally just finished bawling my eyes out, crying so bad because what I want to say first is, please, whatever y'all do, never run behind a man, never follow a man, never hold a man down, be this ride or die, ROD, all this stuff. I'm gonna stand by man. I'm gonna do the time for my man. I'm gonna go to jail for my man. This shit is not a game. This shit is not a game. It's hard out here. I have 2 children. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter. And ever since this has happened to me, my life has been in shambles. Do you hear me? Before this happened to me, it was nothing. I mean to tell y'all, it was nothing that I did not think that I can do. I pride myself in thinking that I can do anything. I set my mind to that I can be anything, that I can do anything. And this situation has truly humbled me in a way that I have never been humbled before. And I just want y'all to know this is not a game with y'all lives with these men. And not only just to take, because I'm a woman, so I do have to take accountability for my fault and my wrong. But still, it's just so important, y'all. These men, I promise, it's never worth it. It's never worth it. It is never worth it. Always choose yourself. Choose your children. And y'all don't understand. Like, it's so hard, and I'm so vulnerable to do this. But this is truly my testimony. This is truly what has happened to me. And I'm speaking to women around the world. I'm speaking to women, any woman, when I say this. Please, please, I beg of you. If you're ever in a situation where you are about to go to jail with a man, do whatever you have to do to get yourself out of that situation. Do not allow yourself to go to jail or take a charge for the part. Excuse my language. I hope my video don't get flagged because of this. But maybe I should take that out. I don't know how this works, y'all. But the worst part about it all is the fact that this man, we're not even together anymore. We have a baby together, but we're not even together. And that's one of the bad parts about the whole thing. I sacrificed. I put it all on the line. I did all of this for a man that I am not even with till this day. I have a 3-year-old daughter, a 1-year-old daughter. We're not together. I went to jail with this man, was in jail with this man. I helped protect this man so this man would not go to jail. Was I fully aware of everything that was going on 100% and knew all the details? No, I did not. But because of how I love this man, because of how much I love this man and wanted to be with him, I thought we were going to get married. I thought that this was any game for me, that this was the one. And because I thought all those things, and I thought he felt the same way, that, okay, let me ride this out with him, you know. This is my man. This is going to be my husband. I'm pregnant with his baby. Mind you, plot twist. Y'all, I went to jail pregnant. I was pregnant in jail. I was pregnant in jail. I was going through so much, y'all. I didn't even want my baby. I didn't even want my baby. I went through so much postpartum. And right now, to this day, the man is putting me through hell. Different babies, different baby mamas, different women, all pregnant. Like, it's just crazy. And all this because I took a ride. I took a ride with a man that I was involved with, and it costed me. Point blank period, it costed me. Drove down, supposed to be going to the casino, doing this, doing that. You know, I was sleeping during the time when we were driving to the casino. You know,
Hey guys, so I just wanted to come here and do part 3 this last video and kind of just like clarify a few things and kind of wrap up the story because things are getting like really out of hand. And you know, I posted that video at a very vulnerable time. I was very vulnerable with people that I don't know. And I just did that because I just felt like it was real and it was necessary for me to spread awareness, you know, for the younger generation and other people my age or younger to, you know, just use discernment and to always put themselves first when they're thinking on their feet, to think consciously, and if they have children, to always put their children first. I just want to say no, I cannot discuss all of the details and everything that happened. And no, I'm not going to tell you what I was charged with, what he was charged with. That isn't appropriate to even, you know, get into those details. But I just want to let you guys know that it was all because I took a ride with him. No, I was not aware of everything that was going on. I was asleep when I was woken up by the police and arrested in the car. I did not know that I was pregnant. I just thought I was pregnant. I was sleeping a lot. And Prior to that, I already had a daughter that was 2.5 years old. So I kind of knew like the symptoms of being pregnant, so I assumed that I was pregnant, which I turned out I was. I found out after I was released from jail. I did not take a charge for him, nor did I lie for him, testify for him, all of these. I don't know what all that is about and where all that is coming from, but I did none of those things. When I say I sacrifice, I'm meaning just by me taking that ride and doing the little things that I did do, it was a sacrifice because I lost. Something was taken from me. I gave something willingly and unwillingly, if that makes sense. So to me, that was a sacrifice because I had to learn a harsh lesson, and now I have to, deal with the repercussions of my actions, of not knowing better, doing better, and being better in that moment. And all of this was just to spread awareness to other women, to uplift other women, and to also just make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I did, because I'm all about women empowerment, especially Black women. And I just want you guys to know that I love you guys, and I thank you guys so much for all the loving things that you said to me, the encouraging words. And for the naysayers, I hope that you burn. You fucking burn for the evil things that you said to me and the hurtful things that you said. Because no one is perfect. We all go through things. And only God can judge us and sit on the high horse. So with that being said, God bless you all.
I took a whole charge for a man that left me before I even started doing the time. My ex-boyfriend and I were driving on the highway at 3 a.m. one Thursday morning. Well, he had a backpack that was full of tree that was in the back seat. We had just left the plug's house. Well, we were blowing and pretty messed up, I will admit that. Well, a cop got behind us and followed us for about 5 minutes, then decided to turn on his lights. My boyfriend told me not to pull over to keep on driving. He needed to think. Then he said, "You can't pull over, we got a backpack in the back." I started panicking, didn't know what to do. I was so scared. Then he proceeds to look at me and say, "Do you love me?" I said, "Of course I do." He said, "Do you trust me?" Which I did. I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Then you're going to have to say that this stuff is yours." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm a felon. If I say it's mine, I'm going back to prison for a long time this time." He said, "It's your first offense. They're going to give you a slap on the wrist or probation at most." Then he said, "I'll take care of everything else. I got you." I asked him, was he sure about the probation because I couldn't go to jail. I have 2 kids to take care of. He said, "I got you." Well, the words cut so deep since they were so far from the truth. Well, finally I pulled over. The cop asked us to get out of the car because he immediately could smell the tree. And then after that, he put us in handcuffs. The car was searched, and here they come approaching him with a backpack in their hand. He says, "That ain't mine." They come to me, and I said, "It's mine." The cop looked at me and said, "Ma'am, now I know this ain't yours." I said, "Yes, it is," with tears in my eyes, trying not to let them drop down my face. He said, "Ma'am, are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "Didn't I say it's mine?" He just shook his head and said, "Do you have kids?" My boyfriend heard him talking to me, so he proceeds to say, "Baby, don't say nothing without your lawyer. Best believe you're getting a lawyer. I'm calling him right now." Whole time acting like he was on the phone with somebody. By then, the K took the handcuffs off of him since I had confessed that it was mine, I was a driver, and it was my car. They put me in the back seat, and to the police station we go. I'll see you guys in part 2. Well, I get there, they come in. I said, "I'm not saying nothing without my lawyer." They asked if I needed one. I said, "No, my boyfriend was sending me one." I waited, seemed like all night. No lawyer. I finally got my phone call. Of course, I called him. No answer. Well, I tried him again. No answer. Then, nothing. The call would no longer go through. I knew right then I was blocked. He done blocked the police station phone number. They booked me in, take me back. The next day, lawyers were there for a few people, but not for me. So I went ahead and called my mom to let her know what was going on, and she said, blunt as she can be, "You're a dummy, and that man ain't answering the phone. It's your problem now." I sat there with the stinging in my chest thinking, no, he wouldn't do that to me. He knows I have kids to get back to, and he knew that wasn't my stuff. But he did. This man wouldn't answer my calls from jail, so I had my sister three-way the call. Guess what? He answers the call. I asked him what was going on. How could he put me in such a situation and ghost me? He tried lying. Then my sister just said, "Girl, I'm fixing to just hang up. It's over." I said, "Please tell me why." He said, "Look, stop calling me. I don't know what to tell you or what you're talking about." He said, "That shit wasn't mine." Then he just hung up the phone. It sealed it for me. I tried recanting and putting it on him, but it was too late. Unless I could prove it was his, since I had confessed. Unless I could get him saying that it was his, which I couldn't get this man to even answer the phone for me, let alone admit to something that was really his. So my first time offense, I received 11 months and had to pay a hefty fine. My kids were with their dad until I got out. I seen him one day at a car show with a girl, and he couldn't even look at me in my face. But I now have my kids back and have started my life over. Yes, it's his fault, and I can blame him for putting me in that situation, but it was on me to say yes to it. I had a choice. I just chose the wrong one, trusting a man.
Okay, so now that y'all seen those stories, let's talk about it. So no judgment towards any street dudes, any women who like street dudes, anybody in this video, anything like that. We are just simply going to talk about other people's experiences just to see how we can learn and grow from it, okay? Because a lot of us have been there. A lot of women, we've attracted street dudes, or we've talked to street dudes, dated them, etc. I'm a person, especially when I was younger, to where I didn't really look logically at the situations at all. I was just a woman who just looked at like, oh, do I like him or do I not? Is the energy there? Is it not? I didn't think about other stuff that I probably should have thought about. So I definitely have talked to street dudes before, dealt with street dudes before. You know, I didn't really have a specific type, honestly, when it came to occupation. Like, if I liked you, you were cute, I talked to you, and that's just what it was, honestly, with me. Like, but I talked to both 9-to-5 dudes and street dudes. I talked to, you know, that's just kind of what it was, okay? But I just feel like, and you see a lot of people boast about that kind of stuff. Like, there's even people who are older, 30s, 40s, still fetishizing over this, still wanting that so bad, you know? You see the little things on Instagram, like, look at what my man just bought me, like men flashing money, men flashing stacks, just stuff like that. So, you know, women who are young-minded are literally young, they fetishize that. They want that. They're like, oh, I want a street dude. Especially girls who are opposite, who did not grow up around the streets, who like was in the suburban lifestyle, who went to all girls schools. A lot of times they be wanting that. And then what's crazy about it is the street dudes be wanting the opposite of them. They be wanting somebody who is the opposite. Like, I used to talk to this dude who was in the streets, and he told me he wanted me because I was like opposite of him. He was like, oh, the way you talk and this and that, like, you know. And I'm just like, what? Like, why wouldn't you talk to somebody who's like you, similar to you? Like, there was certain lingo I didn't understand. There was just certain stuff I just didn't get and understand about the lifestyle. And then he would laugh, and I'm like, why would you just talk to somebody who like similar to you, who know this kind of stuff? And he like, nah, why would I want that? I'm like, well, that's what you are. What you mean? But anyway, opposites attract, long story short. So that's kind of how these situations happen. But a lot of women, just like me when I was young, we're thinking like we're just going off the vibe, the energy, etc. But we're not thinking about our safety too, or the safety of your children, etc. So that's kind of more of what this video is for. Okay, so I wanted to include not only the stories where you're getting a charge, but the young girl as well, because a lot of this starts off when you are young. Like, how many girls, y'all let me know in the comments, when you were younger in high school, you have men approaching you who are grown AF, okay? Like, when she told me she was 15, I said, told me, like I'm the audience. When she, in the TikTok story, when she's saying like, oh, I was 15 and he was 21, that was like, what? I was in my head, I'm like, nobody else is thinking about this? Because in the comments, I don't even think anybody said anything. So I'm like, damn, nobody's thinking that that's a problem, that he's 21 and she 15. I feel like that's a problem. I ain't gonna let my daughter do that. Like, she would have, Like, if she ever did something like that, I would not know about it. I'll tell you that. But I'm like, dang. But then I remember being at that age, I attracted a lot of older men as well. Like, men in their 20s and stuff would be attracted to me, and I'm only in high school. And I'm like, that's a problem itself, because these men are a lot more mentally mature, physically mature, financially more secure than a lot of dudes in high school and stuff. So, young girls, they'll be attracted to that. We'll be attracted to that. We want him, the one who's established and stuff like that. And that's not a problem. I feel like when you get closer to age, like maybe 17 dating a 19, 20-year-old, that's more common. 18 dating 21. You know what I mean? That's more common because you're about to be of legal age. But I just thought 15 and 21 was kind of a big gap. Like, he can get you alcohol, just all that kind of stuff. I feel like there's just too much of a gap, in my opinion. But, these dudes that are older, they approach high school girls. And, when you're a girl who grew up without your father, especially, let me rephrase that. If you grew up without a good active father, when I say active father, I mean somebody who is in the household and being there for his daughter how he needs to, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, and even spiritually in some components. Like, that's what I mean. I don't mean somebody, a dude who's just in the couch, sitting on the couch physically, like, and cause your mom all this turmoil and pain and all of that. That cause other kind of issues. I'm not talking about those kind of fathers. You don't have to just be physically in the household to be a good active father. I'm talking about a good active father in every department. A lot of times those girls, when they grow up with that, they don't attract like a lot of low vibrational relationships, a lot of street dude relationships. They don't, because they care about the approval of their father. And if their father does not, approve of that, that matters a lot to them, because that has been the man in their life. A lot of times, if you have a healthy relationship with your parents, you turn out to be kind of similar of your mom, the woman she is. I'm talking about like morals, values. And then you attract a husband who has moral values like your dad. So if you don't attract that, then a lot of times there is an issue there. There was an issue there growing up. But a lot of us, unfortunately, grew up without our father, talking about myself included, grow up without our father. So how else do we know what to look for? If we don't have that in front of us, an example of who to be protected for. I mean, if somebody to protect us, somebody to provide for us, somebody to show us what healthy love looks like by showing it to our mom in front of us so we can know what to look for, then we're going to go out there and try to look for anything. Okay. And I have a whole playlist on fatherless daughters. That's a topic that I am passionate about. If you go to my playlist, and it breaks down that more in depth. Okay. So with that being said, though, so a lot of us will be attracted to somebody who can give us what our father never gave us. Okay. So if he's coming in like, oh, I can give you this, like I got money, I got a car, I got a home, that's what we're going to be attracted to. Even if it's not the ideal best situation for us mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever, that's what we're going to be attracted to, because we never had that, And I hear a lot of people sometimes say like, oh, but like I'm raising my daughter, like, right, I'm telling her this, telling her that. I promise you that will definitely help. But I promise you, if she is heterosexual, just because you telling her all this and that does not mean she's going to go the other way. And the reason, go the right way. And the reason I say that is because, a child being brought up has the male component and the female component, like the mother and the father's energy in her. She still will naturally crave the other half of her if she's only seeing one half of her growing up in the household, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. So whenever she sees a male that shows her the intimacy that her father was supposed to show her, then that's what she's going to want. That's what she's going to be attracted to. You know what I mean? So it's just the thing. And then for boys, it's opposite. That's if they don't have their mother's the relationship how they should, that's what they, attract. They tend to attract toxic women, etc. Okay. We have a lot of examples of that. So if they don't have what they need from their mother, then they have mommy issues. How many men that have mommy issues, that are freaking toxic AF, who are crazy, who don't like women, who are abusive, all of that. That's their issues. And then women tend to be like more kind of promiscuous, but like I said, that's a whole rabbit hole. Like, it's a whole rabbit hole, but I'm just saying, so a lot of those women tend to want providers at a young age, and they think that means like, ooh, a street dude, he's going to protect me, he's going to provide for me, etc. So they don't know better, know any better. That's why I want to include that story when she said she was 15, because that happens a lot more than we know. And again, ladies, it all looks good, it looks pretty. You see on Instagram girls flexing a man's money and all that, like this whole phase of that right now. you know, and then you have the songs, the music talking about it and fetishizing street dudes and all this kind of stuff, right? But people in them songs don't talk about the downsides at all. They sell you a fantasy, but they don't talk about the downsides at all. They don't talk about how you can end up getting unalived, and your children, if you have them, can end up getting unalived because of some beef that he got going on. Okay, you could be stalked, watched, all of that. I know a girl who was with her man, and her man owed some other people some money, and they, a whole family, kids and all, walking out either in the mall or outside of the mall, and the whole family was shot at. Luckily nobody got harmed, but whole family was shot at. Then later down the road, he was shot at. No, he was shot, something like that. No, he was shot and went to the hospital, and she had to care for him. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to real deal be careful of the other stuff you're not thinking about. And I feel like if that, with that one story to where she was like, oh, you know, I got kids and stuff like that, he not gonna do me like that, I feel like she really was choosing a man over her children, and you putting your children in harm's way by doing it. Okay, you could have certain products in certain places that you don't know about, and your kids lay their head there, and then somebody then broke into your house thinking that it's there, and then unalive you, your kids, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, it's so many problems and issues that put y'all at risk. Okay, and you have to constantly be on edge of like, dang, like if they got some beef going on, like at any point in time they might not come home that night. Who wants to deal with that anxiety and stress every night? You know I don't. It's just a lot of like risk when it comes to that life and death risk. So you have to kind of think about that stuff. I know it seems fun and fiery and passion is involved and all of that, but you have to be careful when it comes to that. And especially when you think about laying down and having a kid with somebody like that, you got to think about your kids, and you have to think about, shoot, is it possible in the next 10 years that the father of my kids might be unalived or might be in jail, and then I'm stuck raising these kids by myself? You know what I mean? That's happened to a lot of people. That happened to a lot of people as well. Okay, so definitely be careful when it comes to those type of decisions and doing that. That lifestyle can be very dangerous, so you just really have to be careful. Also the drama, like I know the drama comes with a lot of men. Okay, I know that, I'm not just saying that's a street dude type of thing, but I've heard a lot of stories where it just always is drama, because if he's especially if he's a flashy type of dude, that attracts a lot of women. And if he is not a man with like morals and values and all of that, when it comes to y'all's relationship, he gonna fold. Okay, it attracts a lot of women, especially the flashy ones. The women all want a part of it. A lot of them want some money out of it. You know how it go. You know what I mean? It attracts a lot of women, and these clients that they be pulling up to, some of them be women just so he can get to their house, and they'll try to tempt them, just all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It just be too much drama surrounding with it as well, you know? So again, I know it seems glamorizing and like, oh, I want this, I want that, and she's showing this. And listen, just be careful if you are going to deal with that, but grow out of that phase, please, y'all. Please grow out of that phase. Okay, but that is all I have to say when it comes to it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about these stories and y'all experiences, if y'all ever had any experiences. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It is Zodiac Zena on all three. Okay, I will see y'all on the next one.